All right, next up we're gonna tackle our second floor framing plan. So just kind of showing you what we're looking at. And again, this is in your packet E, page 41. So again, the way I just kind of like thinking about it. So now we're standing on our second floor. We've completed our roof plan. And now, again, we're just going to frame out what we're standing on, or kind of design out what we're standing on. So this is our second floor framing plan. You can just kind of see what we're dealing with here. So we do have walls below, and we actually extended ours all the way out to the living room and to the chimney, so ours will be a little bit different. But it's kind of nice to see right here, and again, this is through Revit. We've got TJIs here, so that's a top and bottom flange, but then they're going to be supported by the girders as well as the interior beams. So we're just going to kind of lay those out, and you can kind of see how they look too. We're going to lay out our girders first as this pink line, because these are just the main supports for our interior joists. So let's get started. So again, I'm just going to start with my gray underlay. And again, we used our second floor plan for our roof framing. But now I'm just going to go ahead and use my first floor plan. So I'm just going to copy paste. So again, right click copy, or however you want. Oh, my ortho's turned on, so I'm just going to paste this down. Probably in our next video, we'll kind of go over page layout and whatnot. Okay, so now we've got our underlay done. I'm going to go ahead and just move my packet or my notes on my other page. Okay, so again, first step is let's just go ahead and lay out our girder or our rim joist. And again, I like just picking my line and adjusting the colors later, but you can do it however you want. But just make sure your 0 is turned on. I don't think we created a structural layer. That is okay. So I'm just going to trace around my second floor perimeter. All the way through. We're going to stop right at our, whoops, my line got off. It's okay, but we're going to stop right at our chimney. Pick this line up, the other side, and again, I'm going to the outside face of this wall. So yes, it's probably lying dead center of the wall below, but we just like laying it out like so. And then after we draw that, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight all of the lines I just drew and pretty much paint them pink. So up top, I'm just going to adjust the color and be careful again. Just use these index colors so they show up when we go to print. So magenta. And again, the only time we're really just going to adjust the line thickness is when we've got a different sized framing member. So that's going to be our beam that we're going to lay out pretty soon here. Okay. So great, we've got our perimeter, and then let's just go ahead and name what we just drew. So again, I'm just going to steal a text from my roof framing plan that we've already created. Oh, you know what? We don't need it actually, because we're going to call it out. So I'm just going to throw that off to the side for now. Okay, and then one remaining area that will kind of show our bearing wall. So we're going to go ahead and trace. You can even use a box for this one. But we've got girders or rim joists going all the way around our stair opening. So again, once I draw that one, I'm just going to go ahead and color it pink. So now everything pink is really our perimeter joists and pretty much our interior joist that's also sitting on top of your bearing wall or your stair wall. Okay. Yeah, and we did not get to this point yet, but I just wanted to show a few different things. So again, beams are just required to support that extra load because I'm just already thinking which direction I want to run my TJIs. So I'm going to probably run them north to south, especially since I have this interior bearing wall right here. You can kind of see that. Yeah, let me bring this down. In our packet as well. But see, now that we have this interior joist sitting on top of our stair wall, so I'm going to be running my joist pretty much from my rim joist here to this, let's call it our stair beams type of thing. So I'm just already thinking which direction. So with that being said, I'm just thinking about, okay, I've got some pretty long runs from really the whole length of the wall, north to south. So I'm just going to throw in a few support beams, and this will be custom depending on your interior walls and whatnot, but we're just going to do a generic one for now. So I'm going to go here to here, and once I drew one of them, I'm going to go ahead and blow this up because again, I want my beams, not your standard headers, to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to make that 0.3. As you can see, it's not showing up, so we should have turned this on last class, but go ahead and turn on this line thickness down the very bottom. So that will start showing up our different line weights. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and name this too. So now that we place this beam, this is my 6-inch text. So this is going to be a 4 by 12 Douglas for number 1 beam. Okay, so this one looks great. Maybe adjust my text a little bit more. Okay, once I'm happy with this one, I'm going to highlight both of these. I'm going to use my copy tool. So I want to copy it from this point to this point. And so now I'm kind of left with a little issue, but not too big. I'm just going to go ahead and draw this in for now, and we'll explain it once we get a little bit more here. So I'm going to copy these beams in here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw, because typically we have some type of wall that's going to be separating, let's say, our living room area from our dining and whatnot. So I'm just going to draw this little guideline for now, point to point. And really just to make my structural plan work for now, I'm just going to put, so let's just say we've got a line. And again, you can make this as custom as you want, but I'm just thinking, again, I'd probably have an opening right here from this living room into my dining room. And then same idea from my living room into my kitchen, I'd probably have an opening. So at this location, I'm just thinking I'd have a wall. So again, you can even draw this out if you want. I would offset my wall, let's just say my standard 4 inches. Perfect. And so built into this wall, or sitting on top of this wall, just kind of like our stairs, we're going to show a beam at really 2 different locations. So really I'm going to have a beam spanning this opening, so from here to here, as well as a beam from here to here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. Let's make it 0.3. Okay, and again, I'm just going to steal my texts because again, this isn't a standard beam. It's kind of custom or bigger than your standard headers. So now I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this one. Turn on my, turn on, whoops, my ortho. Okay, and then again, I'm just naming these 2 beams. naming, and moving. Okay, so now we've really got our whole perimeter as well as our beams standing out. And let's go ahead and look at what this beam looks like again in our packet. So what we just kind of drew are really these beams that are going to be supporting these TJIs sitting on top, because again, yes, we'd probably cut this TJI, or let's say we're over their max span. We may need to run 2 here, but again, we can just show the overall direction. And then right here too, a little different, but you see this beam right here on the bottom. So again, when we've got an opening on this wall right here, we're able, I should probably put this girder in right here, but we're able to run our TJIs directly on top of that as well. Okay, so beams below that we just drew, and pretty much our overall perimeter and interior joists. Okay. So next up, and this is kind of the quick part, again, we're almost done. So now we're just going to go ahead and lay out our TJIs. So our TJIs, we're going to space them at 2 foot on center. So hopefully we've got a pretty good 2 foot box, or 2 foot increments, I guess. So I'm going to select my first one. Go ahead and go up to offset. And I'm going to go to 2 feet this way. And now that I drew one of them, I'm just going to go ahead and adjust the properties to this white. And start offsetting them from there. So again, 2 foot's turned on. And so you can see right here, it's crossing over or into my stairway. So one of 2 ways, we can keep going or we can cut it up, but I'm just going to keep going. It's easy to trim it later. So yes, we can multiply these easier, but we don't have a ton, so I'm just going to show you a little bit more of the time-consuming way. And let's see where this last one lays. Okay, and that's pretty good. It's showing up on top. I may adjust my beams and wall, but that's good. So I'm going to keep going. Now that I've got one right here into my living room, I'm just going to highlight all these lines and go to trim. With these lines highlighted, I can trim the excess amount, and you just want to make sure this joist is going all the way to your pink lines. So that looks good. Line selected, offset tool highlighted. I'm just going to keep offsetting every 2 feet. Okay, we're getting close, and go ahead. Yeah, so you'll see this last one lines up perfectly with our girder, which is great, but don't put one over there. Okay, so now we just got a little cleanup to do. So I'm just going to highlight. Really, you just need to highlight 3 lines. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So really, I'm going to highlight all of these lines that are going into my stairway, and I want them being trimmed at my magenta or my pink rim joist. So once that's selected, we're going to go to trim, and now I'm just going to trim all these lines inside my stair. So again, so we're not hitting our head when we're going in our stairway. Okay. Nice. So this is done. And really, we're just going to have standard TJIs running this whole direction. So yes, you could copy one, but I'm just going to go ahead and draw a new one just in case you missed it. So again, I'm just going to draw this as a slight diagonal line, so it shows up a little clearer on my structural plans. And again, I'm just going to draw these little pig ears, or rabbit ears, let's say, on the right side and the left side. Again, these do not have to be perfect. You'll see why we're drawing those once we get into our print layouts. Okay, so that's great. Nice. Ooh, that one's a little bigger, but whatever. I can move that, adjust that later. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this text down, and then I'm just going to name what my TJIs were. So again, I'm just going to rotate this text. My ortho's not turned on, so it should be able to rotate decently on this line. Perfect. And we're going to name this one This is 6-inch text still, so we've got 11 and 7/8 of an inch. 110, and this is just the type of TJI at 24 inches on center. And again, this should kind of ring a bell with your quantity takeoffs, but we're really just pointing to our first joist as well as to the very last one. Okay, so that is done. And really, yeah, we just have one other component to draw, which is our piece of plywood. So again, we just want to specify for our framer kind of the standard direction that we want our plywood to go. So I'm just going to, you know what, let's draw a new one. So let's just go ahead using my line tool. So again, standard piece of plywood is going to be 8 feet wide. So that's going to be 4 bays. So 1, 2, 3, 4 bays. And it is 4 feet. And I'm going to turn on my ortho just to make sure I got a straight line. I'm going to come down 4 feet. Back to my pink line. And then I'm just going to draw an X through it to indicate my plywood. And now I'm just highlighting these new lines I drew. And I'm going to color these. This one, I think I did. Yep, I'm going to color these lines red. Okay, so now we got our standard piece of plywood. Man, this doesn't, something looks a little off. That's okay. Let's see what happened here. 1, 4 feet. Yep, I got a little off, looks like, but again, easy to trim or move, whatever you want. Okay, that looks a little better. Clean it up. Perfect. Okay, so this is all of our framing that we're going to do, and all that's left here is just our call out. So again, I'm going to kind of do my call outs the same way, but just be careful, it's not the same call out. So 16, if I go over to my call outs, was, labeled that wrong, that's okay. So yeah, some of the call outs we used for our, yep, here it is. So that should have been 20, that's okay. Are going to be different than your floor framing. So now I'm looking for the callouts again that I gave you. So it looks like this is going to be number 11, which is our 3/4 inch CD tongue and groove plywood, subfloor glued and nailed. Nail 8 penny nails or 8D nails at 6 inches on center at panel edges and 12 inches on center at field. So again, we're just calling out all the detail here on our keynotes, just so our framer or our plan checker will kind of be able to identify that. So again, that's note 11. I'm just going to look at one more thing here. So timber strand rim joist. So this is great too. That's our 10. So I'm just going to call out a few of these here. But again, this is our same scale. So I'm going to use a few of these that I drew. And again, use your copy paste tool as much as you can. I'm already forgetting my number. Ooh, was it 19? No, so that was 11 and 10. So this is going to be 11. And then again, my rim joist, which is right next to it, pink line, is going to be 10. Okay, so really we're done with our framing plan here. Oh, and let's go ahead and clean this up too. So again, we used our gray underlays here. And then we're just going to paint this white and rename it. So this is going to be our, I don't remember what we name this. It's going to be second floor framing. Okay. Okay, and go ahead and just clean up your text, and we are done with our framing plan. Okay, next video coming up will be our first floor, and then we're just going to kind of lay out our prep views. Again, that is it. So finish your call outs and you are good to go here. Awesome. Can't know how to turn this thing off.